afternoon here in Honolulu, Hawaii. We're jumping on a little bit later than we normally do our live streams because I was doing an interview with a friend of mine over at Bold and Brave, and it's basically like a network of shows that are connected to alternative medicine, transformational therapies, energy healing, spiritual practices, and what have you. It was really good. That's the first time my friend ever did a hosting of a podcast with me, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And in that talk, I realized I shared something with him that I haven't talked about publicly before, which, in my experience, is the marketing secret that you've never heard of before, and it's connected to energy. So you guys know that marketing is basically getting the word out about what it is that you do, right? And then sales is getting the person to that came in interested in what you're talking about to convert, right? So in the context of business owners and executives, well, executives may be a little bit different, but business owners, the thing that's most important is driving sales. And you get sales by having leads, and you get leads by getting the word out about your product or service, right? And so I thought about this, and I was reminded in the podcast that one of my mentors many years ago lived in Florida, and he had a waiting list of people that wanted to work with him. And his waiting list wasn't, a couple weeks. His waiting list was 3 months long, and he did healings 8 hours a day at least, 6 days a week at least. And he had back to back to back to back to back to back to back people waiting to work with him. And I was like, at the time, I wasn't even charging for healing. I was just having people come in, and I was doing healing sessions for them. And I remember asking him, I go, how do you have such a full book of business? What's your secret? And he asked me to lean forward, and he says, it's in the heart. And I was like, it's in the heart. It's in the heart. Wait a minute. But what's the marketing strategy? What's your pitch? What do you say to these people? How do you say it? What clothing do you wear? Where do you do it? How do you contact them? You don't have a website. You don't have a business card, but you have a 3-month waiting list. And you're telling me it's in the heart? He goes, yeah, it's in the heart. It took me many years later to figure out and start applying what he was talking about. What does it mean by it's in the heart? So this is connected to a previous live stream that we did about gratitude for business owners. That if your heart is activated, it creates a magnetic field that draws similar things to you, right? So who do you want to work with? The person who is pushy, that has gritty, grimy, dirty, sticky, sharp energy, or the person that you feel loved by, that you feel cared for, that you feel accepted, seen, heard? That person, right? And that's a function of the heart. So it's interesting. That's one of the biggest reasons why people don't like working, quote unquote, with traditional salespeople, is because the salesperson, lower chakra, solar plexus, ambition, drive, perseverance, self-interest, when it's overactivated, it becomes selfishness. And we can feel that, maybe not consciously, but we can feel it energetically. Like, I feel like this person is trying to take advantage of me. There's just something weird about this person's energy, and I can't quite pinpoint it. Versus someone who is cool, calm, collected, and they have a big open heart that you're like, you know what? This is a person I want to work with. This is a person I feel that understands me. This is a person I feel can really help me, right? It's kind of like if you are sick, you have a cold, a fever, something like that, and you go into the doctor. You go into the doctor's office, and you have what is known as bedside manner. So a doctor that has bedside manner is like warm, caring, patient, nurturing, and you feel like better just being in their presence. Versus the doctor that doesn't have bedside manner, that is very calculated, maybe cold, maybe just the facts, man. Remember the old show Dragnet, or the movie that came out in 87 with Dan Aykroyd and Tom Hanks, Just the Facts, ma'am? When we're in the presence of somebody that has that kind of energy, just the facts, we don't seem to feel supported and loved, which interestingly enough, remember, if we feel agitated being around someone, it's the solar plexus chakra that's more agitated or more activated within that person that activates that within us. A person that we spend time with that may be giving us the right information but is cold, that's the person that's operating from the ajna and throat chakra, the mental body. So they might give us the exact information exactly as we need it, but in the way that we don't want it, the way that it feels cold, distant, indifferent. Interesting, right? So that's a function of the heart. So how do we change this? We have to work on our hearts. How do we work on our hearts? Well, I always recommend, whether you're a client of mine, whether you've never meditated before, whether you've been meditating for 30 years, I always recommend the Twin Hearts meditation. The Twin Hearts meditation has several benefits. Number one, it activates your heart. Number two, it activates your crown, which brings down a tremendous amount of divine energy that cleanses and purifies your aura, your chakras, and your meridians. So it removes the negative thoughts, the negative emotions. It has a calming effect. Also, it expands your energy body. If you want to be successful at anything in life, as a business owner, as an executive, or someone else, you have to have big energy. Right? One of my teachers always said, the person with the biggest energy always wins, meaning the person who has the strongest connection to their higher selves will win versus the person who does not. So you expand your energy, you clean your energy. It's a cumulative effect, meaning the more you practice the Twin Hearts meditation, the deeper, more profound the experiences are, the longer you stay clean. Also, it has a shielding effect, right? Because think about this. Let's say your energy body is depleted, right? Your aura is small, your chakras are small, you don't have a lot of energy, you're kind of at your wit's end for the day. Do you think you're more susceptible to being persuaded and influenced and taken advantage of, or even getting physically sick when your energy body is small? Most likely, yes, right? But if your energy body is really expanded, right? Your aura is huge, your chakras are huge, and you start interacting with other people, you're not going to feel so drained and depleted, right? We talk about the psychic vampires. And then also, as the heart becomes more activated through the Twin Hearts meditation, your tendency to be more generous increases. And as we know in the Twin Hearts meditation, through the prayer of St. Francis of Assisi, it is in the giving that we receive. So as we give, as we give, as we give, what do we receive? Whatever it is that we give, times 10, times 100 or more, right? So if you smile at somebody, hello, the tendency is for them to smile back. If you give money to someone, the tendency is for money to come back, right? It is the law. Whatever you plant, you reap. Whether it's a physical thing you're planting, right? If you plant watermelons, you reap watermelons, you don't reap mangoes. Same thing emotionally. If you plant good emotions, you reap good emotions back. If you plant good thoughts, you reap good thoughts back. Does it make sense? So as you give more and more and more and more and more, the heart chakra expands more and more and more and more and more, and then you start attracting better and better and better and better and better things into your life. As you support others, you will be provided support. Make sense? But keep in mind, it's always in the giving that we receive. It's not in the waiting that we can take more, right? It's kind of like the analogy of like looking at a fireplace and asking for heat but not putting any firewood in. Wouldn't really make a lot of sense. You put the firewood in and then it gives you heat. So you have to give something before you can receive something. So the Twin Hearts meditation is an excellent practice in activating the heart. Another thing that helps to activate the heart is practicing gratitude regularly, right? We talked about this earlier this week. Gratitude for business owners. So you write out things you're grateful for, and then be aware of the heart. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then let the heart expand, expand, expand. Okay? Also, love is always a verb. So as you give to other people, it is in the giving that we receive. As you give to other people, the heart also expands. So if you give your money, your heart expands. If you give your time, your heart expands. If you give compliments, your heart expands. Anytime you're giving to another person or persons, your heart expands. Helping out with a feeding program, your heart expands. Helping out with a soup kitchen, your heart expands. Helping out with the elderly, heart expands. Tutoring children, heart expands. So whenever you give something, the heart expands. So that's why love is always a verb, right? So when somebody says, I love you, but they don't actually do anything, then it's not really love. It's more lip service, right? So don't look at what somebody says, look at what someone does. Does that make sense? So it's better to give to activate your heart chakra. What else? In your business, giving things in your business also helps activate your heart, also generates good karma, prosperity karma for your business. So giving out free samples, free consultations, free software trials, giving something to benefit other people's lives will come back to you many, many times. Now, here's the thing that we have to be aware of. Just because you're giving to this person or to this situation does not necessarily mean it is going to be harvested from that person or from that situation, right? Like, hey, I helped out this guy, I gave him a free trial and he took advantage of it, or I gave him a free trial and he never bought from me. It's like, okay, but you still planted the right seed that's in your business that will come back to you many, many times. It may not come back through that person, and it may not come back in exactly that minute because there's something known as lag time, right? There's lag time. So when we plant corn, we know it's gonna come up in 8 weeks. When we plant an apple seed, it's gonna come up in years, right? So we have to understand that there's a lag time. Like, we don't do the good deed and then the energy comes back immediately. There are factors that are in play. Some of the factors we know, some of the factors that we don't know. So we do our best to plant the right seeds as often as we can to keep the good karma coming back to us on a consistent basis, right? There's certain people that will wait all year to send a tithe, right? Like giving 10% to their church, the charity, what have you. And so the whole year they won't have good karma coming in. Then they'll send out this one big tithe, and then they'll get this overflow of good energies, of prosperity energies into their life. It's recommended to tithe at least once a month. I have actually a friend of mine that when the flow is not flowing super well in his life, he'll tithe every single day. It doesn't mean he'll tithe more in that month. But instead of doing that tithe in 1 month, one day of the month, he'll do it throughout the month, right? To keep the flow going into his life. So if he was going to donate $1,000 one day out of the month, he'll just split that $1,000 over the 30-day period, right? So giving like $20, $30. Does it make sense? So those are some of the things I want to plant in your mind of like, okay, I want to generate more business in my life. I'm a business owner and I want to generate more leads. I'm a salesperson and I want to close more deals. How do I do that? Is activating your heart. Also, the other benefit of activating your heart, other than drawing in more people and people feeling good when they're in your presence, is that it transforms energy. So if you're stressed and your heart is activated, it will calm your stress. And if they're stressed and your heart is activated, it will activate their heart and they will feel less stress. So there's so many beautiful, magical benefits of activating your heart in the context of business. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, I don't have all the time for this mushy gushy, soft, loving kind of stuff. I just want to go out there and close deals. Yes, you absolutely can go out there and close deals. The challenge with that is you're going to be working harder to close those deals. Because the whole purpose of this talk is to say how to easily and effortlessly attract more clients into your life by activating your heart. Yes, you still need to go out and do physical things. You still need to make the sales calls. You still need to show up for the appointments. You still need to follow up. Yes. But if you can have a loving heart as you're doing it, it'll make the process smoother for you, smoother for the clients, and you'll have more deals closed versus people that are not ready yet. And I have many cases over the past 20 years of being a professional energy healer, is that when my heart is activated, and I feel deep gratitude. I feel appreciation for the work that I do, for the people that I work with, for the people that I'm going to be working with. Magical things happen. People come and they go, hey, I saw one of your videos. I'd like to work with you. Hey, I filled out your scorecard. I'd like to work with you. Hey, I got referred by so-and-so and they said I should work with you, right? Because my heart is more activated. One of the secrets that my mentor had at the time of having a full book of business for 3 months is that his heart is more activated more often than mine was, right? Because that was his level of development. Not everyone can be there, so that's why we have to like have certain tools like the Twin Hearts meditation, practicing gratitude, and doing loving acts to activate our heart, right? So I hope that helps. I hope that benefits you. If you got benefit out of this, feel free to share it with someone else. We're continuing to grow the YouTube channel. We're almost at 3,000 subscribers. Woohoo! Super excited about that. And then, yeah, and if anyone you know is a business owner that needs healing, every business owner needs healing. And we also do healing on their business. Feel free to share this information, or they can go to innertransformationgroup.com. That's my website, innertransformationgroup.com, and I look forward to serving you guys there. This is Christian Long with the Inner Transformation Group, wishing you a beautiful day, a beautiful week, and a beautiful life. Atma, namaste. Bye-bye.